In this video, I'm gonna be scuba diving inside a house.
There's over $1 million of fish and coral in here. I'll need to watch out for giant sea urchins and stinging anemones. This is going to be almost impossible. The only problem is I have to do a scuba course before we go.
So I just checked online. My local dive shop doesn't have an opening until next week.
We need to be in New York City this Saturday, so this just isn't gonna work. I don't wanna have to fly down to the Florida Keys for a refresher scuba dive. At late notice, this would cost thousands of dollars, and we just don't have the time to make this happen. The shop said there's still a chance of a cancellation.
We're on our way to the dive shop. We're just gonna show up and hope they can fit us in.
Turns out they're a fan of the channel. Shout out to Learn Scuba Chicago. You're all legends. This is the perfect refresher course. I'm going to test my skills in this massive pool. The dive master pushed me to my limits, testing my buoyancy control, hand signals, and general spatial awareness underwater.
That was scary with an instructor. On Saturday, it's just gonna be me down there.
If you watch my channel, you know that I've been here before, but this time is different. This time, I'm getting inside the 17,000-gallon tank. Meet Andrew, the owner and creator of this enormous aquarium. Andrew spent 6 years building his dream tank. He owns rare fish and corals from all around the world and spends $50,000 a month just to maintain it. Since last time, Andrew has added tens of thousands of dollars of new corals and some crazy other stuff too. I really want to get footage from inside the tank. This has never been done before, and I think it's going to look awesome. It's going to feel like scuba diving in the actual ocean, minus the sharks. There's only one thing we can do to make sure we're prepared. I'm going to order this super expensive waterproof case for my camera. I just hope it comes in time. We're leaving in just 2 days. I'm also going to surprise Andrew with a super cool coral. Let's see if they have something here for his tank. Unfortunately, the shop isn't going to be able to ship the coral in time.
I'm gonna have to take it on the plane. Hopefully they'll let me through security with it.
While I was at the coral shop, our new camera gear arrived. Let's check it out. I really hope it doesn't leak when I scuba dive in the tank. We just don't have the time to test it. It's the next morning and our flight leaves in 30 minutes.
They're testing the water at security. Our flight leaves in 30 minutes and I'm freaking out.
If we miss this flight, we miss our chance at swimming in this giant tank. Good news! We have the coral and we're headed to the gate.
We're finally on our way to New York.
Now we gotta take a cab 2 hours out of the city to Andrew's house. I just hope the coral will be fine until then. We finally made it.
I forgot just how impressive this house is.
It's no wonder it's home to one of the largest reef aquariums in the world.
Hi, Aquarium Info. Welcome back to the zoo.
This house was literally built around Andrew's giant aquarium. Who is this guy, and why does he have such an enormous fish tank in his home? Before we check out the tank, let's take a quick tour of the house.
I don't want you to miss this.
Andrew purchased this house with one thing in mind. It was big enough for his dream aquarium. It also sits on a lush, beautiful plot of land with a stunning pool and tennis court. Andrew literally built his house around this aquarium.
This is the original house where it ended, the structure. We built extensions for the fish tanks after this.
He also gave up his home cinema.
This was supposed to be our home cinema. Today it's our lab.
Something like this has never been done before in a home. It's an impressive feat that required an entire team to accomplish.
When it all started, I thought it was a crazy vision. The more I learned about it, the crazier the vision became.
This tank took over 6 years to build. Andrew's team poured over 65 tons of concrete to support the 150,000-pound tank. They sourced the finest Reynolds acrylic glass and over 200,000 pounds of water. I'm feeling very lucky that I'm going to be swimming with these fishes, literally. Andrew even installed a special air conditioning unit just for his tank. He also has generators for emergencies.
My biggest fear is computer failure and the tank going completely dark.
That's why he has thought of endless safeguards to ensure nothing happens to his tank. He has automated alerts on his phone, 24/7 staff on call, and a whole computer system dedicated to keeping things running. But the bigger the tank, the bigger the problems. Everything is 100 times the scale of a normal reef tank.
This is a normal skimmer. And these are Andrew's. He has 2 of them. This is a normal sump. And this is the sump Andrew uses. This is a normal heater. And these are Andrew's. They have 1.3 million BTU of power.
So what does it take to maintain such an enormous tank? Andrew has a full-time team to help him.
Okay, I've been here with Andrew since the beginning. When I was started with the driver, now I'm running his fish empire.
It takes a village, and this doesn't even include the fish and corals.
I can't believe I'm gonna get in there.
It took Andrew years to acquire all of the fish you see here, and he only just started expanding his coral collection. Before I dive in the tank, let's surprise Andrew with his new coral.
Wow, thank you so much. Oh, it's a toadstool, right? It's coral, leather coral. Beautiful.
This new coral will have to spend upwards of 8 weeks in quarantine to make sure it's parasite-free. Andrew will do anything to protect his underwater oasis. It's time to get suited up to get into the tank. Let's feed the fish before I go in. I want to make sure they're well fed so they don't nip at me. Each day, these fish eat 5 pounds of frozen food. That's a ton of food. Okay, we're finally ready to scuba dive in Andrew's dream tank.
Speaking of dream tanks, I'm giving one lucky subscriber a chance to win their own. Andrew's even throwing in some super soft merch, so subscribe right now.
Last week, Rachel from New Jersey won. Congratulations, Rachel! Andrew has only ever allowed professional cleaning crews to scuba dive in the tank, so I'm pretty nervous.
You gotta be careful when you dive in the tank. It will be dangerous, but you'll be okay.
The corals are very fragile and can break very easily. And whatever you do, watch out and do not step on these sea urchins.
It's finally time to go into the tank. I'm so nervous. I really hope he doesn't regret this.
Relax, just careful with coral.
Great. This isn't calming my nerves at all. I had to climb up and lower myself into the tank. I started to make my way along the wall. This is when things started going downhill. To make matters worse, no one outside the tank could understand me. I could see inside the camera case that water was definitely leaking in. This camera setup is over $4,000 and has all the footage from my trip. I can't afford to have it fail. I quickly made my way back to the surface.
I think the camera's leaking. We're gonna have to check it out and go back in.
My only backup is this GoPro, but it's like 10 years old and the footage will be terrible. After a quick inspection, I found that one of the O-rings wasn't quite in place. The camera is still working though. We're so lucky. Let's give it another shot. I have to be really careful down here. There are a lot of sea urchins on the ground. The path through the tank is super narrow. I also don't want to knock over any of these huge corals. Wow, this is absolutely stunning. It truly feels like I'm in the ocean down here. I can't believe we made it. It's been a long journey, but totally worth it. It looks like it's snack time. The fish are going absolutely bananas. I could hear them chomping all around me. This was such a cool experience.
We just scuba dived in the world's largest home reef aquarium. Make sure you're subscribed and I'll see you here next week.